Where's your gavel?
So we're going to call the meeting to order. So today's board meeting will be on the report out from the accreditation team. So Dave, just going to take it over.
Sure. And I'm going to introduce Dave Pine, who is here and has led the team from NCA, AdvancED, that came and conducted our choir visit to share the rest of his team and their findings. So,
thank you. Thank you, folks. Appreciate your attendance this afternoon. You guys want to introduce yourselves, tell them where you're from, what you do?
My name is Jan Birmingham. I'm with Berrien Springs Public Schools in Michigan, and I'm the curriculum director and work with the hearing department.
My name is Mike Devereaux. I'm from the OK White, Greenville. Not the green, OK Green. But I'm retired and 40 years in education, from teacher, principal, academy superintendent. So I've been involved with AdvancED for decades.
And unfortunately, we had two members that were also here that can't be here because there were flights involved. And I think there's one flight that goes out today, and she wanted to make sure she got on it to get out back to Arizona where it's 80 degrees. So, and again, my name's Dave Pine. I'm the principal of Peverill Elementary School. So tomorrow I get to go back and find out what's happened in my absence. And I've got a couple emails, and so yeah, I have to go back. Even after I read that. So our task today is to kind of give you a preliminary finding and the snapshots that we took of your schools. And you, in about 30 days or less, will get a comprehensive report that addresses a lot of our findings. But today you kind of get it in a nutshell, the abbreviated version, if you will. I do need to start off with one thing. I think I got this. Maybe. Isn't that your fight song?
Oh, I know. You should let that play a little longer.
Oh, well. My biggest fear was I'd be playing the Holland High School fight song. I was like, I can't do that. So, AdvancED, as they said, NCA. It's an accreditation agency. It's a merger of some regional accreditation agencies. And basically what it is, it's global. They're a leader in quality control and promoting excellence in schools. All good organizations are held to standards. We wouldn't want to go to a doctor that, wasn't current on best practice and was a good doctor. Same thing with our parents. They don't want to send their kids, their precious gift, to us unless we can assure them that we're going to do a good job and provide excellence. They cut across many, many boundaries. I think there are over 30 states now they're in, 27,000 schools that they work with. They do all the Department of Defense schools on the bases. I'm going to Japan in February. 15 million kids, 18,000 volunteers such as ourselves, and I think this is awesome, 3 million teachers. How powerful is that to bring 3 million teachers together? It is an accreditation agency. It's that quality control, as we went by the Hayworth Industrial Place, out that way. Those white, those white flags that say ISO 4007, those are those controls that are in place in the industrial setting to assure control. And, professional learning. We all know that it's hard to keep up with our craft. NCA offers some of those things at a very reasonable cost. Innovation, education is changing. Education is changing, and they can offer some of those briefs to you that allow you to hone your own craft and skills. What is the district accreditation process? Many times, I think, from your high school perspective, they at one time are involved in the NCA process. And what happens is, the easiest way to identify this is, you have 4 elementaries. I would hope that your 4 elementaries are pretty much all on the same page. They're not 4 separate islands. And so the accreditation from the district standpoint brings everything together. So that no matter what school they go to, oh yeah, this is how we did it over here, out at Blue Star. Well, they do that at Hollandale too. So, and then when they matriculate to the middle school and then on to the high school.
Mr. Rakoff, please come to the main office or call extension 500. Mr. Rakoff, please come to the main office or call extension 500.
He does this one too, right? Yeah. I thought so. So the process is, it's systemic in nature. And so no matter where you go, it should be very, very comparable. And efficiency. That's what good organizations are built around. Like I said, it's an international protocol, and those 7 standards, if you adhere to those, good things will happen. Good things will happen. And it used to be, you know, school improvement means getting better. Oh, well, we have 91% of our kids met meets in 4th grade. And I think that's changing when the papers come out here soon. But what you want to do is, yeah, 91%, that's awesome. But can we get better? You can't rest on laurels. You always have to strive to get better at your craft. It's a systems approach to improvement. It promotes continuous improvement, always getting better at what you do. Always getting better at what you do. And there's some accountability in there. And that's kind of unique, you know, to the educational world. For many years, it wasn't a competitive market. It wasn't that we were held accountable to some degree. Now we're very accountable. We're accountable to our future and to our parents' most precious gift. They trust us with their children. Schools that use our process, you never get done. We all set goals, and then when you reach that goal, you move forward to the next goal, and the next one, and the next one. They're always changing that bar, that level of excellence, and we always are moving towards that. A systems approach to district improvement, and that's what this is all about, is as a system. And that green arrow, or that arrow with the green around it, you know, and the aim of the district, we all think we're moving in the same direction and trying to accomplish the same thing. And many times we see this and, oh yeah, we're on there, but everybody else is kind of in a different direction. So what we strive for Hamilton is that everybody's moving in the same direction at the same time, moving towards the same place. And I'm fond of saying, you know, we're moving north, but sometimes we all move, you know, somebody might be moving northwest, somebody might be moving northeast, but the goal is we always come back and move together as a system or as a community. Those are the 7 standards. Vision and purpose. Do you know where you're headed and why you're trying to get there? Do you have the people that will help guide that ship for you? Teaching and learning. That's why our kids come into our classrooms every day, or our schools. Documenting and using results. Now, you know, science has led us to all sorts of wonderful things, and are we doing the job we need to do with assessments? Can we measure that? Are our kids learning? Resources and support systems, sometimes a forgotten group. I would imagine the first contact that your students have with your school district would be in the morning when the big yellow bus pulls up to their house. For some of your kids, that's the first contact they have. It's also the last contact. I hope that my bus drivers make that a pleasant experience for the kids to get on the bus, because if they don't, and they're unhappy when they get off the bus, they come right into the school. You know, our cafeteria folks are all of our support systems that help us out. Stakeholder communications and relationships. Some of us in here are old enough to remember when the phones were on the wall, and you had one, and if you were lucky to have the one, you had what was called a party line. And for those of you that don't know what that is, you can Google it now. But stakeholder communications and relationships, we live in that transparent world. It's a 24/7 communication. So, you know, how do we get along? How do we communicate? We can't do our task with the students that are provided to us by the parents unless we work with them. I would be willing to bet there were a few emails that went out today to parents, probably all throughout the course of the day. Hey, Johnny did a great job on his test today. Or, hey, is there a time I could give you a call? I have a question I want to run by you. Commitment to continuous improvement. And that's that last standard. We always want to strive to get better at our craft. Always. We have to get better. Businesses that don't get better don't thrive and survive. And it's the same thing with our students. If we don't get better, they can't thrive and survive in that ever-changing world that we're trying to prepare them for and will eventually send them out into. So, the expectations for accreditation, we meet those quality standards. We monitor to see, hey, are we on target? Are we getting those results? You know, when we go to the doctor for the checkup, how's that triglyceride level today, Dave? How's that weight? We don't go to that benchmark. But the other thing that happens is you prepare and you host for a visit such as this every 5 years. And I want to be very careful that the visit is not the culmination. The visit is the beginning of the hard work that begins tomorrow. Hopefully, this afternoon when we leave and you get this report in a month or so, you read it and you put it away. Hopefully you won't do that. It's not an event. This is the process. It's a process, and you constantly are working at it. And that report, there will be some things in there we feel that if you tweak and fine tune a little bit, that you'll even be more efficient in your efforts. And as a result, all the folks of the Hamilton Community Schools will benefit. For the schools, you know, there's a lot of work involved. Your leadership did not have to invite us in. They don't. Schools, you don't have to go through this process. Good schools want to become and strive to become better. And this is an impetus for that to occur. The district leadership, you know, they put out some practices that are going to help us get better. They set expectations. They help us achieve those expectations. They help provide the things that we need to get the job done. So that kind of brings us to our review process. We are practicing administrators, or have been for in our past. We come in and we take just kind of an outsider's look. You know, I can dust the house and it looks pretty doggone good to me, but my wife will find a few spots that I missed, but it looks okay to me, and then I redo it. But, and I think that's the same thing. Sometimes, you know, we need to put on that critical lens, and we ask for outside folks to come in and help us. And that's why we're here today. And what we want to do, as I explained to groups, and we've talked to a lot of people and visited many of your buildings, our job is not to come in and be critical. Far from it. Our job is to come in and make sure we validate and let you know, you guys are doing a bang-up job on this. We are not here to be critical. And the other thing that we look for, what are they doing very, very well that I can take back to my own school and my own kids? And I've already got a list of those. So, and then, like I said, we want to give you some feedback that we think is going to help you celebrate, and then help you plan for a party in a couple of years when you've achieved some other things and can celebrate that at that time too. So what did we do? For those of you that have been involved in the process, you know that there's a pretty good self-reflective piece that's involved, a collage of your district. We poured through that to see where do you guys think you're at? So we looked at that and had a kind of a benchmark for that. We listened to a lot of presentations. We've spoken to a lot of folks. We looked, examined artifacts. That means we poured through like your MEPs, your SRI, your DIBELs. We've looked through board policy, curriculum maps, board minutes. They're all on your website. Can they get to those? Where's Barb? I don't know. Okay. Okay. But there's a lot of things that we've looked at. We visited 5 schools, and unfortunately we couldn't visit all, but we tried. We looked, and please understand, this is a snapshot. This is what we saw today, and yesterday, and on Monday. And I can guarantee you, great things are happening in your schools. We were all to the T. Our dialogue yesterday at the dinner table was, wow, how cool is that? We collected a lot of data and organized it, and that was what we did over at the accommodations in Holland. And what we want to do today then is kind of share some of those. After we kind of gathered all this, we had some collaborative and professional dialogue. And well, I didn't see that. Well, I saw that. No, we can't say that. Yes, you can. So we had a good dialogue. Matter of fact, one of us got beat up so bad they had to go to the hospital last night. Is that true, Mike?
It was a maternity ward.
So Mike became a grandfather for the second time last night. So, and he
I got
found
pictures too.
they're included here. They're embedded in this program. So we pursued the evidence that we could corroborate. Like where is that? And God love Barb, because she was getting emails last night at 10:30. Hey Barb, do you have this? And we finally shut it off because I thought, she's probably sitting there at her desktop looking for things to come through so she would have it for us in the morning. We used the evidence to guide discussions and reach some things, and then what we did is we used a rubric. You guys have probably heard that term. And we took our findings and applied it to the rubric for excellence, and we're prepared to share that today for you.